Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Building a Nation with Polonia Warszawa, the looking forward part of the save. And we're on the page of Ivanovic Ivanovic, who's got 528 appearances. We still haven't anyone break the 600 barrier, but a good career for Serbia, and he was a staff manager and a manager. But usually when they retire early, it suggests that they probably didn't quite make the cut. But there you go. So, this is so weird. Did he go on loan to FC Copenhagen, or did he just randomly decide to join them one season? I actually can't remember. No, he went straight to Celta Vigo, and he made 441 appearances. He scored over 100 goals for Celta Vigo in the league. That's impressive. And finally went to Dynamo Kiev to finish off his career. What about management, though? Go on, give me something. He was manager of Bielefeld and then Stomil, so managed in the lower leagues in Poland. He was weirdly, though, at Stomil for 6 seasons, but never really achieved anything with them, it would seem. Andrea Favela got 70 caps for Italy, 38 he retired at. Again, unfortunately, no career beyond that. But after he left to join Spurs for, I think, quite a large amount of money, if I recall. We actually can't see it. It's probably in here somewhere. I wish this was way more laid out better, but what can you do? He made 212 appearances for Tottenham and scored a goal for them. He went to Sociedad for a bit. He finished off at Kievo. He got 610 appearances. There you go. He actually did it. He's the first player I've seen that's made more than 600 appearances in his club career. 610 appearances for Andrea Favela. 90 for us, 200 off for Spurs, but 86 for Kievo, where he would have been, during that part where he was at Kievo, he would have been 35 to 38 years old, and yet he was still playing every single week for Kievo, presumably in the top flight in Italy. So that is insane. Really, really pleased for him. He won the league with Spurs. That's pretty impressive. Amazingly, we were able to find Vicente. So, 37 years old when he retired, 48 caps for Brazil and 7 goals. I was a fan of this guy, and oh yes, look at this. He stayed at the club for a long time. 649 appearances in his career. Just as we go and finally get someone to break the record, Vicente comes flying in like a wrecking ball and smashes it by 40 appearances. Nearly 650 and 200 league goals. To be fair, he'd already chalked up 250 appearances for Santos before he even joined us. And he was with us for 10 years and chalked up another 250 games and another 100 goals. Went to Flamengo for another 2 seasons, load more goals, and finally finished off at Portland Timbers. That's probably the most that we're ever going to see. 200 league goals as well is an insane amount of goals for an attacking midfielder. Oh, I wish he'd become a manager after that. But he won an awful lot of titles as well, 6 or 7 league titles with Polonia. What a career. He's one of the good guys, one of the guys that stayed on after I left. It's fair to say to him. Zico's up next. Luckily, the one I clicked on was the first player that actually came up called Zico, thank God, because there's about 70 of them. 15 caps for Brazil, 4 goals in the end. And he played for Barcelona. So, yeah, again, pretty solid signing, it would seem. Though, weirdly, it seems that we let him go we just let him be released and go back to Corinthians for 3 years. Very, very strange. Eventually, Wolves brought him back from Corinthians, it would seem. Although it's hard to say. Maybe he went on loan to Wolves in that period. At the end of the day, he moved to Barcelona for £21 million. Oh no, he was on loan from Barcelona to Wolves. I think that's kind of how that worked. Yeah. Did pretty good at Wolves, to be fair. 7 goals and 13 appearances is damn impressive. But he played for Barcelona for years. 549 appearances in his career. He's, again, very, very good. But this guy looks like an insane... that's a lot of appearances for Barcelona. That's 10 years at that club. So, well done him. Next up, it's Kevin. Oh, thank God for that. We finally found the guy. No appearances for Spain. I had high hopes for the guy, but he did play for Palace for a very, very long time. That's 10 years he was at Crystal Palace. Went for £6.5 million, played there for 10 years, and then buggered off for £6.5 million. The complete perfect circle, you might even say. Spent a couple of years in Austria, finally finished his career with Cologne, but he couldn't really get any sort of leverage on that one. Didn't have the best... I say he didn't have the best career. He made 300 Premier League appearances. You can't really go wrong with that, can you? Fair play, Kevin. Next up, Donny Waterberg. Oh, here we go. Manager, 62. You might get a little bit of extra stuff here. I'm not reading that yet, though. 9 caps for the Netherlands as well. 34 appearances. He retired at 34. It's very young, but that's quite late to retire as a staff. He might actually have had a career here. Played for us for a bit. 70 appearances for us. Went to Bruges, essentially, for a little bit. Not too bad there. Went to Manchester United for a bit. And then went and joined, might have played alongside Mateusz Świgawa at Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors. Interesting. Then came back to Belgium for a little bit. Come on, give me that staff history. I want to see some good stuff. I'm disappointed now. I figured with such a long staff history there, but no, not at all. Essentially, he was an under-19s manager for a bit before he spent 20 years at Sparta Rotterdam as a coach. That being said, I think he might have been there the year that they won a league title, so I guess there's that. I got my hopes up for a second and they were unceremoniously dashed. Next up, Elton Lopez. 38 years old, he retired. 140 appearances for Cape Verde. And, oh, wow, this is a weird one. So he went to Hertha Berlin for a bit. Then he went to Panathinaikos for a little bit. No surprises there. Huge, no, fair enough. Girona for a few seasons. And then he made 200 appearances playing for Hapoel Be'er-Sheva over in Israel. That's a really, it's interesting to see a lot of players finishing their careers in Israel and Qatar and China, obviously, but Saudi Arabia too. But Israel has been quite a common one too. It sort of does kind of follow the path that a lot of players follow with going to China or going to the MLS. But Israel seems to be coming up quite a lot. So there you go. That's Elton Lopez. Next up is Mr. Bean. I hoped he would do good things. He didn't even get a single cap for the Netherlands. Retired at the age of 30. And oh, dearie me. That being said, 444 league appearances in total. Didn't really have that much success outside of Holland. 300 of those appearances, more than 300 in fact, were playing for Vitesse and then for Feyenoord for a bit and then back at Vitesse. We sold him for £4.5 million because he was desperate to leave. He joined Vitesse for there. He joined Feyenoord for £7 million and then he went back to Vitesse. Yeah, all right, fair enough. He's had an okay career. It's a decent enough career, but sort of forged out mostly by playing in the Dutch leagues. Konrad Kasselik retired at the age of 29. Well, there's not really much more we can say about that. He literally retired during the save, and I didn't even realise. Okay, it comes as no... Oh, wow, that's a new record. 194 caps for Mexico. Yeah. Wasn't here that long, really, before moving on to Manchester United. Hopefully for an insane amount of money. Go on, show me that money. Move to there. Blah, blah, blah. He's been a manager as well. Able to finish his playing career at Manchester United for how much? Or was it a free transfer? That suggests it was a free transfer. Ah, that's a shame. He played for us for a while, but he played for Man United for literally 11 seasons. So he's had a hell of a career. And he was a manager, and he actually managed clubs. Go on, show me that. Started at Sunderland, went to Burnley, went to Bristol City for 5 years. He was at Bristol City. Darius Zuber. Didn't get any caps for Poland, retired at the age of 35, basically forged himself as he played a long time for Brentford. That was kind of his main part of his career. Southampton, Forest, Derby. But once he signed for Brentford, he sort of settled down and played the rest of his career at Brentford, but didn't really do a great deal after that, unfortunately, it would seem. Kelvin for Posse. I was kind of hoping he would surprise a few people and stay with us for a while, but he did no do that, unfortunately. He made the move to Monaco that I guess he'd kind of been angling for a while, I assume. Then again, he did stay a little bit longer. £41 million is not enough money for that, unfortunately. And finished off his career at El Shabab over in Saudi Arabia. 500 appearances, though. Not too bad. Nearly 100 caps for France. Surprisingly low amount of goals for a player who really was an excellent finisher. 50 goals for us he got, after all. We signed him very young. We spent 70-odd million on him ourselves. So the fact that we sold him for less than that is very, very disappointing. But I guess, what can you do? I would love to see some more managers. Right, let's have a look at the Llama. Go on. He's one of our final hopes for a managerial role. Jose Alberto. Oh, yes. Oh, director of football. Well, could be. He's 109 caps for Spain, 5 goals. Come on, lads. Nearly 500 appearances, in fact, most of which were made for Schalke over 12 years. He left us very, very soon afterwards, which is a big shame. What was the big move? It would appear again that it was a free transfer, or you just let his contract run out. I think he didn't have that long left on his contract, perhaps, when we were in charge. Probably my fault there. Right, let's just have a look at the managerial stuff. Come on. Director of football at Freiburg, Ingolstadt, and then Toulouse for 14 years. Oh... So he was at Freiburg for 15 years, then Toulouse for 14 years. Still nothing amazing in terms of managerial stats, though, which is a big shame. But what about Brian Gorosito? Nope. Retired at the age of 37, 59 caps, 9 goals. Very odd career, in fact. He stayed with us not that much. Well, this is a weird one. Oh, no, hang on. He played a load of years at Boluspor to finish off his career. But once he left us, which was a couple of years after, to go to Arsenal for nearly £30 million. So I guess we got some money out of that. Went to Rangers for a bit. Just didn't really play a lot over the coming seasons, really. He had 7 years left on his career here, and for the next sort of 3 or 4 years here, he just barely played any football, which is a bit of a shame for the lad. But I guess, then again, he won a lot of competitions. Look at the amount of league titles he won with us. So I guess he was definitely a little bit more of a loyal servant than some of the other players that might well have left not that long after, it would definitely seem. Ahmed Mufta. 110 caps for Libya in the end, only 12 goals for him. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. So he was on loan from us for goddamn years. Eventually, I think he did move to either Pexvoll or Heerenveen. I can't remember. It might have been after me. No, I'm pretty certain I let him go. Just trying to remember here. Yeah, I don't think it was genuinely the first club he actually left us to go to was Angers. Did okay there, but somehow, off the back of that, Genk decided, yeah, he's worth £5.5 million, and in all honesty, they were probably right. He went on to make 227 appearances for them in Belgium to finish off his career before actually finishing it off over in Greece. That's nice to see. Like, wow, he actually won Ligue 1 Best African Player, which must have been presumably with Genk. With Angers. He can't have won it with Paris FC. It seems very, very unlikely. But hey, I always like to keep an eye on him. Christian Henningsen. Here he is, 103 caps for Denmark and 36 goals. For whatever reason, he did not work out here. But my giddy aunt, did he have a good career after he left us. Like, it was at Newcastle for nearly a decade and made nearly 250 appearances for them. Can't really argue with that. Like, sometimes players just need to find the right role, and he clearly found that at Newcastle without a shadow of a doubt. 30 Premier League goals in that period. Like, he was probably a bit of a legend to Newcastle fans, you'd have to say, over that period. Right, Edwin Palacios. Palacios was another of those players that I'm pretty certain I sent to Werder Bremen. 114 caps as well, and retired at 39. Not quite the 40 mark, but he did get 544 appearances, most of which were made at Hoffenheim over an insanely long period of time. Yeah, he was always a backup for us. He never quite got there. But yeah, he joined Bremen from us. I sold a lot of players to Bremen over a period of time. Then he eventually moved to Hoffenheim for 12 million, and he stayed there for a very, very long time. Over 12 years. So yeah, fair play to him on that. 3 years at Trabzonspor to finish things off, finishing at 39. A lot of these South American lads tend to go on a bit longer, it would seem. I wonder why that is. Attila Pinta. We're nearly coming to the end now. 33, that's very young to retire. It's nearly Conrad Kastelik levels. 57 appearances, in fact. And, I mean, 274 is very, very low. He just did not have much of a career after this, it would seem. I mean, I don't think he... Did he ever play for us? No, he didn't. Played for Zag for a little bit. Went to Wisła. Lechia for a while. Finally sort of found his career with his final part of his career at Sturmgrass, but he still felt the need to retire at the age of 33. Not really an amazing career. Next up, though, is Marilison. This one I want to see. 35 years old, never got caps for Brazil, but what I want to look at with Marilison, it was this season he had with Zag. If he stays with them, because I think he left in January, and yeah, January 2030, he went to Chapecoense for £3.8 million. Like, Zag got a load of money out of it, but he'd already smashed in 18 goals from them from attacking midfield, and he'd got them basically battling around the top of the league for a bit, and then they sold all their players, and it seems like his career didn't really go anywhere after that, although he did come back to Europe, in fact, to play for Standard Liège for £11 million, and that's kind of where he made the most of his appearances, is with Standard over in Belgium over a 7-year period. 17 goals. I mean, look at that, though. Like, he literally scored 18 goals in 50 appearances for Zag in Poland. They had something working under that current squad, and for whatever reason, they decided to muck it up. But that's just what the board do in these kind of saves. Everton Escobar. 35 years old, retired. No caps for Brazil in the end. We sold him fairly early. He was one of those ones that forced to move, if I recall, to Porto. Went to Benfica for a bit to Basel. Only 300 appearances in his career. Not the best career, to be honest. But that's often what happens with a lot of these players that leave us too soon. Their problem, not ours. Then we have Anthony Campagnaro, retired at the age of 35. Only 272 appearances in his career in total. Like, he played for West Brom and West Ham, but, I mean, we got a lot of money out of the deal. Like, we got him for free, if I recall, and I think we sold him for £5 million, which was not bad in all honesty. Then he went to West Brom for £5 million, amazingly, and he was there for 4 years before finishing off his career at the age of 35. He was a very strange one. A player we picked up for free. I think he was released by Napoli in the end, and he did all right for us. Like, he scored a lot of goals, considering he was only really there supposed to be a backup, but he did really, really well. Next up, Bonavento. We've only got one chance after him to actually find a decent manager, so it looks like Herman Carballo, the first one I look at, is literally going to be the best manager of this entire save, along with Alberto Freitas, and he didn't achieve much either. Bonavento, retired at 38, no caps for Argentina at all, played most of his career at Porto after he left us, which was before... Yeah, I remember selling him. I went to Ajax for a bit, back to Banfield for a bit. No real big deal of his career either. We're going to finish things off with Rafael Maka. I reckon this guy's had a good career. Let's see. 146 appearances for Poland is ridiculous, it'd be fair to say. 34, though. He retired a little bit too early for me. We sold him to Spurs in the end, which is a shame. How much was that deal worth? He joined 14 million. That's a massive rip-off for us. We've been mugged off by Spurs there. How much did they sell him to Real Madrid for? Even on loan to Atletico. This screen is so annoying. But there you go. Went to Atletico. 270 appearances nearly for them, though, which is pretty impressive. And 146 caps for Poland. I think I was still right about him being one of our shining hopes in Polish football. Like, he's a hell of an appearance maker, I'd have to say. I wonder if there's a way you can figure that out. Because he is the final one. Is there Polish records, maybe? Highest transfer fee paid within nation. I mean, there you go. £100 million was Giban Almeida. But look at this. A guy left from Łódź, Ryan Plas, to Watford like 9 years ago for 105 million. Wow. Let's have a look at this lad. This must be why Watford are doing so well. Like, look at 105 million. They bought him off of Lille, of all teams. Like, because Wad are obviously a pretty solid side these days. But look at this. He's not scored single digits for years. What a player. What a player. 122 caps for France. He's still only 31. Insane. That's really, really something. Okay. Fair enough. Highest world ranking was 5th in October 2017. So that's, yeah. And the lowest was 78th in October 2018. So, yeah. Highest attendance. None of these are relevant to this save. Okay, fair enough. Most matches won in a row, 14. We'll have a look at the proper records in a minute, I guess. This is kind of the players. We can probably do it, yeah, separately. So ranking. Okay. We can actually see a little bit more. So the highest world rankings, they've kind of slipped a little bit. I presume they got kind of high. No, actually, we were up to this sort of page here, and then they kind of just slipped off a little bit down to 30th, but they've kind of been coming back in recent years. I think our best bet is to go on league records, in fact, and see if we can work it out that. So yeah, 59. Oh, wow. They actually beat my record. Holy Christ. Well. Okay, so that year they won every single game except one. Oh, my Lord. That is insane. Right, okay, so we've got to have a look at that season. So what was that? 43-44. Polonia Warszawa that season were ungodly. 36 wins and a draw. An unbeaten season. Like, how many unbeaten seasons did they have? So when I left, it was an unbeaten season that season. I think that might have been the final season. Then there was another unbeaten season. Then they did lose 2 games, 2 games, 2 games. Unbeaten again, 1 game, 1 game, unbeaten again, 2 games. They've done back-to-back seasons of unbeaten seasons. 3 games this year, but still got 100 points, amazingly. 3 games this season. This is as they start to slide, I think. Then back to 1 game, 3 games. Yeah, no unbeaten seasons coming for a while here. 3 games, 1 game, 3 games, 1 game. 4 games. That's too many, guys. 3, 4, 4. Yeah, it's starting to slide now. I feel like this is coming soon. They're going to start losing titles. 6 games. They were just about hanging on. Then back to 2. Then to 5. Oh no, that was when they lost it entirely. We still only lost 4 games that year, though, amazingly. And then the following season, they lost 9 games. That was what really did for them. But then they were back with 3. And, oh no. Then they lost the title with 9 league defeats that season. No surprises there. 6. But I want to see if they ever had any more unbeaten seasons. 2, 4. Probably not. Wow, both teams finished on the same amount of points. That's kind of cool. That doesn't happen very often, does it? They lost 1 game that season. 4. Yeah. Oh, there we go. They finally got another unbeaten season. It took them a long, long time, but they definitely did it. And then it back to 1, 7. Oh, no, sorry, 6 rather. 7 that season. Then they were kind of a bit crap again. It was seen as another random selection one there. 7 and 9 season. Yeah, they lost 9 games that year and still won the league. Impressive. 4 again that year, I think, actually, yeah. 1 again, 4 again, 4 again, and 4 again. Okay, so they have had plenty of unbeaten seasons, it'll be fair to say. Right, let's have a look at the records again now. Let's go back to look at this properly. So, most league wins in a season was them, obviously, that year. Fewest league wins, these are all archaic records. Most league defeats in a season was actually during a season that we played, when Chornicyanka were just the worst team imaginable. Literally the worst team imaginable. And they lost 31 out of 37 matches. Fewest defeats in a season, obviously we've got that loads of time. Most draws, nope. Fewest league draws in a season, none. Oh, those are all old school records. So highest competition average attendance, 25,000. That's literally this season, in fact. Lowest season was during our save still, amazingly. Highest attendance, no, that doesn't count. I'm looking for any new records. Highest average attendance, 64,000 for Polonia Warszawa. Nicely done, lads. Most matches won in a row. 40 games we won in a row. Mental. And then, most matches without losing. 117 games for Polonia Warszawa. And that was when I was in charge. We won 117 league matches without a defeat. Crazy. And Katowice, nope, that's not that important. 17 games without concede. Oh my god, they nearly went half the year without conceding a goal. I could never do that. It's just one of those absolutely impossible achievements to get. I'm amazed that they actually managed to achieve that. Most team goals, 131. That was my final season, so we did score the most goals. And yeah, Chornicyanka conceded 109 goals that season. Crazy. Any new records on this one? Most assists by a player in the season, Jimmy Pejak. We can't say anything about him, can we? Oh, we can! Jimmy Pejak for Polonia Warszawa got 22 assists in the league in a single season. He's now the director of football at Wolfsburg, but let's see if we can look at his career stats for us. So, yeah, we bought him off of Monaco, amazingly, and then, where's that season then? Oh, there. Look at that. 22 assists in the league. Lot less goals from that year, but that is an insane amount of games. Like, 22 assists. Fair play, Jimmy Payak. He's a Frenchman. Okay, fairly cool. What else we got here? Most assists. Yeah, Juan Martin Iglesias, 29 clean sheets. No surprises there. Blaise Lisic, though, in that final season, got the highest average rating in the history of the league, a record that still stands 50 years later. Worst record of... No, most player of the match awards. Emmanuel Eugenio for Legia Warszawa. 17 man of the match awards. That's pretty impressive. I mean, 434 appearances for Legia and 252 goals for Emmanuel Eugenio. What a player he is. That is some... Considering they... How much did they pay for him? Doesn't even say, does it? Nope. I mean, 250 league goals, though, is ridiculous. I wonder what the league record goal scorer is. I don't know if that even actually does tell you that, does it? Youngest player... Nothing new here. Youngest goal scorer, though, Mateusz Majewski of Motor. Of course it's Motor, in 2065. Okay, attendances. We can kind of see, yeah, average high attendance is Polonia just every single season. Although, Lechia had a few. Oh, no, that was when we took over with the new stadium, I'm guessing, because Lechia have always had a pretty large stadium. Fair enough. What about lowest attendance? I'm just kind of curious here. Yeah, wow! So, Rozhoi Katowice have got the lowest attendances, but they're also... battling for European spots regularly. Results. Biggest wins. Okay. Yeah. There was an 8-0 against Zag. And obviously, remember, we beat Lechia 8-0 in a game as well. A few 7-1s in there as well. Some 6s. You know the drill. Highest scoring games. 3-2s. There was an 8-4. I remember the 8-4 as well. That was an insane game. Sequences. Oh, I think... It's because it's sorting it like... Yeah, that's because it's got a 1 there and it's sorting it weirdly. That's a bit annoying. But yeah, we got 131 one season and scored over 100 goals in the league many, many times. In fact, the lowest one is 61 when we won a title. Obviously, there was that season when nothing happened. Oh, that's probably because that one stopped halfway through the season. That's why. Yeah, fewest team goals, 18 one season. And the highest one of those is 30-14 goals. So there you go. What amazes me is that Chornichenko conceded 109 goals. And literally the second worst is 26 less. That's mental. Worst discipline. Yeah, they did not have... to be fair, they had the worst discipline, but it still wasn't that bad. Lechia had 13 red cards in one season. What is that? Or is that just overall? That can't be right. What the hell were Lechia Gdansk doing that season to get 13 red cards? Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty low ones in here. I want to see if there's any of our ones at all. Ibrahim Pereira got 26 one year. Legia obviously had one to get 26. They also had another guy, Christopher Adamski, get 26. He's played for Legia too. So then also this guy, Kelmendi for Łódź. We don't know much about him though. Got 27. Federico Heredia for Lechia. And then this guy Fumatsa for Łódź, literally a few seasons ago, got 30 goals in a single season. He's got to be Brazilian. Yes, he is. In fact, he is... Is he a free agent? No, he's played for Łódź. Of course he is. What a season he must have had for them. 30 league goals in 37 matches. 17 man of the match awards. Just what a man. What a player. Massive Furman got the most in one game. I feel like Lisic, didn't he get 4 in a match once? Maybe not. Fiarczyk, amazingly, in there. Again, this is mucked up because of the way this works. But yeah, you can see that we've got a couple of players getting 20 assists in a season. Or 22, rather. Most assists, comfortably, Martin Iglesias. He's just comfortably above everybody else. Blaise Lisic has the top 2 here, but Lilian Garan actually got pretty close as well. Only 3 players in history, 3 different players for 4 different occasions in history have ever got that close. Rafael Rodriguez. Oh, of course, yeah. The Manchester United guy that we had on loan for an individual player. This is crazy. Surely, 4 red cards in one season. Also, Karabali for Katowice got 19 yellow cards in a single season. I don't know which one's worse. I feel like this guy here, though. Ante Kurtovic for Arka Gdynia getting 11 yellows and 4... Oh, wait, hang on a minute. Guillermo Augusto, also for Arka, got 5 red cards in a single season. That can't have been the same year. Surely, no, it wasn't. But 5 red cards in a single season. That's insane. Well, here you go. Big transfers. I thought we'd have a look at everybody, because why the hell not? So... Look at that. A player moved to Wolves from Polonia for nearly 100 million. I bet you there's been some that have been more than 100 million. Are these automatically sorted? They are. Okay, cool. So Vinicius to Wolves for 52 million. Wow, a little bit less this year. Polonia not really buying anybody, it would seem. Another guy, Christian Cortizio, left Polonia to go to Wolves for 101 million. They're spending a lot of money, it would seem. Yeah, 41 million there. Wow, only 20 million. 63 million from a guy called Brian Flotter. 105 million. That was obviously Ryan Plas. So he's the most expensive transfer ever, isn't he? Out of Poland. Wow, look at this. Motor sold 2 players for £120 million. Quite a lot of money. In fact, let's just look at leading transfers. I'm trying to think. Maybe one final thing to look at. Leading transfers for the entire save. See what the biggest transfer deals in the entirety of this save are. Here they are. So, and it's still Kylian Mbappe from Paris Saint-Germain to PSG, to Manchester City for £205 million. That's insane. I'll also note that Betis have spent huge amounts of money on people in this save. Like a considerable amount multiple times during this save. Mbappe to still be the top one though. Jefferson Renal to Newcastle for 191 million. Imagine if you were spending that now. Douglas Akiminko to Betis. A guy going from Betis as well. Bjorn Ulmeyer, probably German, but sounds a bit like a nice little Scandinavian in there too. Fernando joining Cannes for £136 million. Le Havre signing a guy called Jurgen Selina from Hertha for 128 million. That's something you would never expect. And then there's Lucas. Ah, man. Just an insane save. I had a really good time with this save over the time. There's Kurt Roos when he joined Real Madrid during the save, in fact. So no Polonia players on here. Not that I was really expecting that at all, but that's just how it goes, isn't it? So, if you enjoyed Polonia Warszawa and that sort of save, I don't know if we'll be doing another Building a Nation save anytime soon. I've kind of got a lot of plans locked in for FM20, with it being probably Chelsea on the beta. I do want to do an MLS or an A-League save, and a lot of you wanted to see that, but I wanted to give it more time than just 2 weeks on the beta, because I don't think that's enough time to really have a good time with that kind of save. So I wanted to do something fancy, not even fancy, something simple for me, which is Chelsea, as a Fulham fan particularly. And yeah, particularly as I got a transfer embargo, so that'd be kind of fun, just for a little bit to learn the new game, do that sort of stuff. Then we're going to do Notts County, done about streaming and stuff. Hopefully, I mean, obviously I'm feeling shit right now, but that's just because I'm ill. So hopefully some of that too. I've got a very interesting save in mind for after Notts County, but that's going to require an awful lot of work for me in the background to even get that sort of near ready in time. But you'll probably find out about that one next year, literally, because that's how long it's going to take for me to get that one sorted. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this, drop a like. That'd be gorgeous. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.